Hey, Tim Lysing here, R2 Unified Technologies. I want to talk to you about another scenario that our customers facing pretty regularly and asking for our advice and consult in our deployment services and on. And that comes in regard to the availability of bandwidth on demand. More importantly, having a lot of bandwidth available at a cheap cost. Now, for those who may have been dealing with uh, networks for the past 10, 15, 20 years, there's a few challenges that we've been able to, that we've always been trying to solve over the wide area network. Availability, security, and quality or control over those network connections. Previously, a technology was developed to solve these three use cases, and that's the technology that's been in circuits and that's been owned by telcos for quite a while now, and that's MPLS. MPLS was created at a premium, so in contrary to this, it was high dollar amount for not a lot of bandwidth. But even though MPLS came at a premium, it did solve these challenges. Availability. You're getting your own dedicated line, your own dedicated circuits, your own dedicated connections into the carrier's cloud. Security. You're able to have all those lines be crypto, have tunnels over them, basically have end-to-end security throughout your MPLS cloud. And quality control, since it is dedicated lines that you have control over, you can do things like do quality of service over that MPLS line. Now, if you think back, MPLS has been around for 20 some odd years. A first very large acquisition that Cisco had was in voice over IP, and it just happened to coincide that being able to do voice over IP, there was a, a huge factor in how you'd have acceptable data loss or jitter across that wire. Quality of service is extremely important on the LAN side, and it was extremely important over the WAN side as folks move towards a consolidated or a centralized voice avenue on voice over IP. Now today, as we have bandwidth available at a significantly low dollar amount, what customers have decided to do is take these characteristics of MPLS and start to seed them into their own on-premise equipment. And that is turned into software-defined WAN. Now, what we look to achieve when it comes to software-defined WAN is emulate that level of control, possibly reduce the customer spend away from MPLS, and put in a larger pipe. Let me walk through an example of where SD-WAN on the Cisco SD-WAN platform would replace MPLS. So from an availability standpoint, if we have 3 locations and a data center, these are all going to be connected over some shared service of the internet. Previous MPLS route, we'd have dedicated connections into the internet, and we'd have our data center be or serve as a spoke, or even more so as the hub of that data center. Today, what we look to emulate in SD-WAN is we take the control that was put in this MPLS cloud and we put it at the edge. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, each one of these SD-WAN boxes, you're going to have its packet flow or data plane continuing to sit on-premise at each specific location. Now, these can be a hardware on-prem appliance. You can also have the ability to do virtual machines. Either or scenario, the Cisco SD-WAN or even the Cisco Meraki SD-WAN is going to be palatable to that. Now, from a control plane perspective, best practices is from a control of traffic flow, also, for instance, to know, for instance, you put together 2 connections at each location, since bandwidth is readily available to you. Say your primary connection goes down. Say your data center goes down as a whole. How are we going to have the path intelligence to know as our primary goes down, how do we route over our secondary? And more importantly, how do I know that if my original route was to go from A to data center 1 down to location C, how do I know that this hop is down? How do I know how to just route directly to C? And that's via the control plane. So in the Cisco Viptela and the Cisco SD-WAN space, they put the control plane in the cloud, where the cloud now knows the different locations of each of their devices and the status. Are they online? Or their link state? To make policy and path decisions based off of where everybody sits in the cloud. Now, not only are you going to be able to do performance characteristics and changes based on your cloud database, but you can also do traffic shaping based on layer 7 intelligence as well. So for instance, in the Cisco SD-WAN world, say I wanted to have all of my mission critical application data to my data center. I wanted to have that on my DIA primary, and I want to make sure that this application has high quality of service, and that when that application is running, that I allow it 90% of this pipe. Contrary to that, we're going to have users working at the branches, and users are going to be doing things that are outside of their day-to-day job roles. Let's say they're browsing YouTube. I can do traffic shaping on YouTube, or I can shape that down to 5% across my preferred secondary link. So not only do you get performance benefits from an SD-WAN standpoint, you also get policy benefits from a traffic shaping standpoint. Now, none of this would be complete without security wrapped through and through. So as these locations talk to one another, what they're doing via the control plane is they are dynamically creating and establishing secure IPsec tunnels to one another. And as data is transmit between these locations, they remain encrypted in transit until they get to their destination. And that dynamic tunnel is then spun down. All of this is done by the cloud or our control plane. This is just to give you a teaser of some of the benefits of going with an SD-WAN solution. In Cisco's world, we're advocates of both the Cisco Enterprise SD-WAN solution along with Cisco Meraki. There is inherent ROI benefits available if you're moving away from an MPLS. You can also ride shotgun with an existing MPLS solution. The SD-WAN technology, as you put that capabilities and benefits closer to the edge, there is no really limit to capabilities when it comes to the telco side. So what we see, and as we consult our customers, is take all the inherent benefits of what you were provided with MPLS, take that control, put it on-prem, control the costs, throw more bandwidth that's readily available at it, as we've seen an uptime of all the internet circuits and concepts like direct internet access provide a lot of bandwidth available right to your doorstep at a low price. If you would like any deeper questions on the technology, or if you'd like to have a consultative call or like a whiteboard session with us, please contact us. Please set up our website and somebody will be happy to chat with you. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.